sunshine and I'll shit on your parade. Don't get me started on doing Michael Caine. My opinion matters, yours will fall in last place. I'm not shutting up and you'll be learning my name. Fifth in the family, but first in my mind. 1 out of 10, but I'm ranking just fine. We've only got now, there's no afterlife. Look, mom and dad, I'm just speaking my mind. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everyone's coming on Kyle tonight. Wait, what? No, nobody's coming on Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking and drink, smoke, or eat and cry. I'll never shut up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking and drink, smoke, or eat and cry. I'll never shut up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die.
Hey everybody, welcome to Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up here aboard the houseboat. Tommy Lee Jones, live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Jeffrey, we got a nice couple of guys
What
hanging
song
out.
is too long? So long.
Zach,
The
the
intro
one that he's working
or the
on
one
right now.
upstairs?
The
Oh,
one he's
okay.
working on right now.
Gotcha.
All right, well, I am your host, Kyle Mocha. Thank you for tuning in on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, podcast app, whatever you may be listening in on. Thank you so much for joining us. I do, right off the bat, just want to say we usually don't get political or really too topical in this show. We are a bunch of dumb idiots that like to be a bunch of dumb idiots,
Yes.
but when there's things that you can't really ignore, you can't really ignore them. So just right off the bat, we want to express our solidarity and standing alongside everybody that has been protesting this week, and a kudos to everybody that's been doing it peacefully.
Yes.
And kudos to all the police that have been doing the right thing in that situation. And you know what? We'll never know that situation, so we can't assume to. And again, we are not the people to really cover this. This is not something that we really probably would have super wise input
Treat people
on.
equally, man.
But
treat people right.
Yeah, treat people right. Do those
good,
thwe
Do good by people.
Yeah, so again, we stand alongside you, our brothers, our sisters, everything. We love everybody. We're a bunch of dumb idiots.
Yes.
But we're a bunch of loving dumb idiots.
True.
Yeah, do you think dumb people are more loving than smart people?
Probably.
Is it like an ignorance is
so you're
bliss
saying
situation?
we're dumb?
Oh, I'm dumb.
We dumb?
I'm dumb, because I just love everything.
We dumb?
And also, I was watching like Patton Oswalt's new stand-up special he put out called "I Love Everything," and it's mainly about how when you're 50, you stop giving a shit about hating things. Like he talks about like going to Denny's and stuff,
Yeah.
and he's just like, "This is ridiculous. Denny's is terrible." But for like going with his daughter, she loves it, and now you can kind of in your old age, he can start appreciating things he used to hate. So maybe that's also true. You get dumber as you get older. Maybe that's the thing. I'm not sure.
That may be true, but I mean, as you get older, you stop giving as many fucks as
Exactly.
things
So it is
bothering
wiser.
you,
So no, I'm going to go against my initial thought. I think the truly smarter people are nicer and kinder and have more love in their hearts.
Yes.
But I know one person that has a lot of love in a lot of their parts,
Yes.
and that is Mr. Justin
Hey,
Olimpedo.
man.
How you doing? All of your
good.
parts have so much love in them.
So much.
You are full of love parts. Your foot's
yes.
got love parts. Your elbow's got love parts.
Yeah.
Apparently, your giant penis is a love part. Just a giant love part you got there.
Yeah.
I got a mediocre to not mediocre love part, but it's everywhere. Literally, it just gets everywhere.
Well,
I'm sloppy.
Yeah.
I gotta work on it. You think after 20-something years of doing this masturbation thing, I'd be better at it? But I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Just messes everywhere, dude.
Everywhere.
Okay.
Always doing the laundry. Always cleaning sheets. Always. And when I don't, it gets real messy. It's not good. It's like waking up all wrapped up in a crust blanket. Nobody likes that.
Yeah.
Nobody likes that. Yay, Justin. Jeff is applauding and cheering your giant wiener. Your giant wiener. Now, Zach's going to be joining us shortly, as he said in the chat here. It's a very long song. We are wrapping up what started as our dance album that is called Brunch and Kyle Mocha Brunch and Kyle Mocha are Dance Gods.
Yes.
By Brunch and Kyle Mocha. That is the full name of this album. We haven't really ran with that too hard, but that is what we should save them all under when we make that playlist for them. But this is our final one that we are focusing on the synthesizer.
Yes.
And then we are going to be taking a 2-week break after this. We've been going 12 weeks straight.
Yes.
Everybody needs a little breather, and who knows when we're going to get locked down again. So
yeah, that is a whole big thing.
Let's take some time to not be inside and just take a mental break for all of us.
Yes.
Eventually, we'll just be at each other's throats. We'll just be we'll be at each other's throats and not with love parts. I know I've never been in a throat with a love part, but again, that's just because I have a small wiener. All right, so Zach is going to be joining us shortly. We're going to show you our wonderful featured song that we've got going on this week.
Dance Guns.
Dance Guns. Sorry, not Dance Gods.
Guns.
Dance Guns. Sorry. Dance Guns with a Z. Dudes, we don't even know the name of the album we're kind of putting out. That is crazy.
Dumdies.
Dumdies? Dumdies, okay.
Yeah, right.
We're a bunch of dumdies.
Yeah.
Now, today we're also going to be having a music video featured song from a band called Glass Spells. They're out of California, so a huge thanks to them for getting us that. And then, again, also we're going to be doing our Brunch weekly original single.
Yeah.
Now, this is kind of a part of the what's happening and everything like that, but this week everything started changing, and the world is starting to open back up. So we're now in the yellow phase. I think like the 15th or something like that. Where you hit the green phase.
Yes.
So we're gonna be talking a little bit about like what that means for all your favorite restaurants and bars and all of that stuff. But stay safe out there. Still stay vigilant about it. Don't go coughing in your hands and high-fiving people just because you can.
Yep.
It doesn't make any sense. And other things that don't make any sense. There's one guy that I know, and his name is Zachary Storman. A little simple pop there. You're a dim-witted dad this week. You got a simple pop.
Dim-witted dads, best I ever had.
Yeah.
Do you think dumb dads give better love? Let's go back to that. We were just talking
Dumb dads give better head.
Do you think? All right. Dumb dads give better head. New bumper sticker. We're going to have it. You heard it here first. I hope no one else has been saying that. Dear Jesus. All right, so every week we like to get together and, like I said, be a bunch of dumb idiots, drink some beverages, and talk about those beverages. Our kind of just standby beer is Lucky Streak. Again, we've been drinking it on and off for most of quarantine.
We should stop drinking it because
the
more we drink it, the worse the world seems to be getting.
It's true.
We're on the anti-Lucky Streak.
It's an irony beer. It is an irony beer, but it is $14 with tax for a 30-pack. So that's my Lucky Streak. But we're just sipping on this, but we have been doing a little thing where we're trying to find the weirdest looking beer and see if it tastes as good.
Cool looking cans.
Yeah, the weirdest looking cans. That's what we should say. Yeah. And see if they taste as good as they are presented. Yes. So without any further ado, let's get into drinking some shit.
We drink it so you don't have to. Review it in the morning from the bathroom. Cheap booze and craft brews. Review it in the morning from the bathroom. Why do we drink it? Why do we drink it? Yeah!
All right. I hope it caught the fucked up VHS at the end of that sentence. I think you hit the transition right as I was saying that.
Maybe.
I'm not going to tell you what that's about, but it's a fucked up VHS. That's all you're getting. All right, so
bum fights.
You want to just talk about the Pilsner first?
Yeah, let's talk about the Pilsner. So this is We don't really see a lot of Pilsners. This week we're taking a step away from the IPAs. We're getting a lot of IPAs, a lot of pale ale, stuff like that as of late. A lot of New England IPAs specifically. So this is just one that Justin saw, looked at it, and went, you don't really see many Pilsners, so let's go with a Pilsner. And it's not, it's a nice looking can. It looks like Fancy Bush. That's basically what the can looks like.
It looks like generic birch beer, too.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. They really do have just birch trees on there, don't they? But it's Paradox Brewery, pure Adirondack craft beer. Paradox Pilsner. It's crisp, clean, and crushable.
Yep.
And that is what brought us in. Crisp, clean, and crushable. 5.5%. So let's see how this compares to your normal light beer. We're drinking the light beer with the Lucky Streak. It's got a good head right away.
It's good. It is definitely dry hopped.
Oh, yeah, you can get that.
It's dry, yeah.
It is dry on the back of it, but it's got an actual, like that
one of
floral.
your saltines out of your asshole.
Ooh, 16 saltine crackers in your asshole. Nobody can do it.
Johnny Walker shots and Yingling Lights. I think that is what Jeff is drinking with us.
Jeffrey, nice with the J-dubs. Oh, now he's drinking Yingling Lights. That is his beer of choice. I wonder, and let's see if he'll tell us in chat, did you ever drink the Yingling Flights? Because everybody I know has looked at them and gone, why would I buy that beer? Why would I buy that beer? But Paradox Pilsner, yeah, this definitely I feel like you could probably kill a couple of them. But I don't think it's as crushable as like a Miller Lite or anything like that. It's
no,
still
but for a craft beer Pilsner,
yeah.
it is.
I like the craft beer guys going after basic beer, and that's kind of a part theme tonight. This is good. Do you remember what this was running about for the
$11.99 for the 4-pack?
So $3 a beer, really not that bad. Again, 5.5%, and it drinks like you're drinking a better version of your Busch or your Miller, anything that's along those lines. I guess technically more the Miller because it's a Pilsner.
Yeah.
It's got a good smell to it, too.
Yeah.
It's fruity almost in the smell.
I'm enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
I am.
I think we are going to hit 2 home runs today. Mm-hmm. That is really good. That is really fucking
like,
delicious.
You ever have like a Peroni?
Yeah. It's like a less stinky Peroni.
Yeah.
They didn't put it in a green
skunk.
bottle.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That is right up there. Yeah. And I think Peroni is technically an Italian lager, but you kind of get that still that same feel to it. Definitely kind of like the sweetness of Heineken also, but without the stinkiness.
Without this, stinky.
That is a good way to sell this. That's what you guys should say. Not stinky green bottle beer in a can. And it's in a green can. You're like halfway there.
True.
That one's fucking good. Now, this one, the second one, Justin spotted this, and it's from Aslan Beer Company. It is Much Ado Hell's Lager. It's 4.5%. And Aslan. Yeah, no, it's brewed
this is like
canned by Aslan
art.
Beer. That's what we were looking
at. I saw it, and I was like 2001.
It looks like a Kubrick thing.
On computers, just colored.
Like when the Criterion Edition puts out a beer, this is the beer they put out. It looks so cool.
One of the carpets in the Overlook Hotel.
Or something that's just on the wall of the spaceship, It's like in Odyssey. Like you definitely have that look to it. It looks like there's a person like praying there. Like they're leaned forward, that one dot.
No, dude, it's...
Someone's bending over ready to get fucked. That's what this might be.
Maybe.
Alright, so again, this is part of our Does It Taste As Good As It Looks Cool? That is pretty much what we're doing here. Nice little bubble up on both of these. They're lighter beers, but it's a nice little bubble up. Now, Helles lagers are supposed to be crisp. They're supposed to have a nice crispness to them, but they're supposed to be light and really refreshing.
This is really good and crushable. This is really good.
Oh my god. This is another one. Again, most of the beers I like.
I don't know if I would consider this a lager.
No, the Helles lager. That's what that's what this whole thing is. It's that lighter. It's gonna pour more your champagne color.
Well, Hell means light, right? In German?
Yeah,
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. So your light lager.
And that's the hops I'm assuming that they're using too, right? Hell's hop.
I'm assuming if there's a Hell's hop, I'm assuming that's what this is, but I do not know about that. Maybe more
Hell's
intelligent.
means light in German.
So light hops. Maybe there's a hops called that too. I have no idea.
This is really good though.
This is phenomenal. It for sure is more crushable, I would say, than the actual one that says to be crushable.
Yeah.
But they're both really fucking delicious.
Yes.
If you want light beer but you want flavor, I think, again, both of these, the Paradox Pilsner and the Much Ado Helles Lager, this is going to be a burpy night. These are two very burp-inducing beers. Zach, how's your collection going over there? You have like 3 stages of light beer in front of you. One than the other. Is one standing out as better to you? How bad does the Lucky Streak taste in the mix of all that?
Now, if I take a sip of one of these and then immediately the Lucky Streak, it's like,
Water?
Yeah, it's just like water. It doesn't taste bad.
See,
it just tastes like nothing.
The Much Ado tastes like water to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but go back to the Lucky Streak.
Go back to the Lucky Streak after you take one of those.
Okay.
The sweetness of the other two are definitely still present in your mouth, so it's just kind of like you get a warm tingle across your tongue, and that's about it.
I think this is the best one we've had, and it's definitely better than the artwork.
This is way better than the art. The artwork is cool. I would like that wallpaper. You know, if you had a bathroom that was done up with this weird modern, postmodern art, go check this out again. Aslan Beer Company. They are Alexandria, Virginia, Herndon, Virginia. And they say to keep cold and drink fresh. So do that. Make sure you do that. All right, guys. So there are a bunch of things going on in the world. Some good, some bad. And what we like to do is come together and talk about some of them. We're out of the Corona thing. We're actually getting news that's not Corona. So let's talk about what is happening. What's happening? Hey, what's happening in the world? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Hey, what's happening? Hey, what's happening in the world? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Hey, what's happening? Hey, what's happening in the world? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? All right, guys, so what is going on? Again, the protest, the Black Lives Matter movement is happening. We again, not smart enough people to really weigh in on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt it in a direction that I can weigh in on, and go a little bit more locally. With the yellow stage happening, bars and restaurants are able to start serving people outside dining only. Yes. Starting this Friday. So this Friday, us over at the Cinder, I know the Warrior, everybody that has the ability to have outside dining is going to be open. I'm not sure about places like Main Street. I know that they were waiting for some clearance for them to basically be able to take up like parking spaces outside the front of buildings. So you could go to Floods, you could go to, because Floods doesn't have a deep sidewalk. The other ones have a little bit deeper, a couple of them have deeper sidewalks, but places like Philly's Pub that are also kind of limited, Yard of Ale, limited to the outside. They were talking about opening up, or even just closing off like Parade Day, those 2 blocks, so that you could just use that and spare everybody out. So no word yet on those places, but I know places that do have the ability to have outside dining are going to be doing their best to stick to the rules with all of this and abide by what they're guiding us with. So us at the Cinder, we had our staff meeting to go over everything yesterday. So I have a lot of the weird things that are going to have to be done to kind of bring to you guys here, so you can be prepared, so you can get out of the house, you can go safely, enjoy a beverage, whether it's at the Cinder, at Pub 447, anywhere else. I feel like the two of us, Pub 447 and the Cinder, are kind of like primo set with that outside dining.
I mean,
already.
they have a lot of
they have a lot
of space.
So
but it's gonna be packed.
I know and that's the thing. That's a big thing about it, is that it being packed, it can't be packed.
Well, it can't be packed, but I mean, it's going to be packed in the sense that they're going to be at capacity, and people are going to be
There's
waiting.
reservations now?
So everybody, for the most part, are doing reservations. You're booking a 2-hour time limit. I think that is by guidelines. You get a 2-hour time limit, so if you book it at 5, you get 5 to 7. And we're going to have to give every single person the same spiel when they come in. Now, from the door, this is more for the people that are going to be going as a customer than for the workers, because the workers probably already learned all this information. As a customer, what you can expect when you show up to any place to dine, first and foremost, you have to be dining.
Yes.
They are not allowing you just to go, take a table, and sit down and drink. Now, we don't know if you can show up and order a side of fries for the table.
Can
and
I
then
have
sit there
one
and have...
onion ring and 97 pints?
Yeah, exactly. We don't know the regulations there. They're
Yes.
not saying that they're not telling us the bills have to be, at least 70% food or something like that. No clue on anything along those lines. But when you show up, first of all, make sure you're wearing your mask. Make sure you have a reservation, and expect that you might get turned away if you do not have a reservation. When you approach, they're going to ask you for every person's name that is at your table. Everybody is going to be there. And you can have up to 10 people that are not part of a household at one table. Why it's that number, who knows?
Well, I think they determined the number is 10
the
and,
metric
10 and
system.
under.
Because the metric system.
Because America
like,
is
we have
finally
10
going to
fingers.
the metric system.
Because we have 10 fingers, you can have 10 people.
Most of us.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. Some of you have 9.5.
If you only have 9 fingers, you can only have 9 people at
That's
your
the way
table.
it works. And if one guy at your table only has 8 fingers, 2 of you have to fucking go.
Yeah.
2
Get
of you
outta
gotta go. So they're gonna ask you for everybody's names, and we're gonna have to keep a record of everybody's names, and that's in case something happens.
Sure.
If they go, hey, somebody was here on Thursday and they just tested positive on Monday, we're gonna have to go and contact every single person that sat within the 2 hours that they were seated and let them know that they might have been exposed. There's a lot of ridiculous little things that are, again, for
You know
people's
what?
safety.
I want to come out and support, but that's too many rules.
It's too many rules
That's
already.
too many rules when you're feeding me booze.
Yep.
So can I also say before
It's
all
a
of this,
lot.
think about not driving, even
Yep.
though you're going to get food. Don't maybe get a cab,
Oh, the
take an
cops are gonna
Uber.
be out.
It's gonna be
They have
crazy.
not been able to arrest people in so long for
Definitely
DUIs.
take.
How are we supposed to how am I supposed to go out and choke Pat out in the bar?
Now,
Yeah, you
here's the
can't.
thing: you're not even allowed in the bar. You're not allowed to sit at a bar, even if the bar is
So
outside.
are you guys
we
blocking
removed
off
our
a way
outside-
to the bathrooms?
No, people. So the bathrooms, you're basically some of it's going to be like you're in school, where
have to
we
raise your
joked about
hands.
yesterday about getting hall passes, and that you can't go to the bathroom unless we give you the hall pass. Or like we were just joking about that, but because we need to know when someone goes in there so we can sanitize everything.
Yeah,
as well.
you were saying that after every
Almost,
year.
that's what they're
pretty much.
pushing. But realistically, like.
Have
No
you-
business is going to be able to
This is a
afford to
stupid
hire
question.
somebody. Yeah.
Have you ever been in the bathroom at the bar?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Any bar,
No.
any bar. They're usually not the greatest. So
This
that's
is the
what
only
they're trying
time you
to
can
fight.
take a shit at floods
Yeah.
and not be bothered by
Exactly.
it.
And it'll be clean.
And
It'll
it'll
be
be clean.
It'll have to be clean.
Yeah.
So when you
I
show
take a
up,
shit at floods when it's
so again, when you show up, you're going to wear your mask. You're going to go to the door. They're going to tell you that they need to write everybody's name, and then they're going to take a phone number down so they are able to contact everybody at the table. Some places might take everybody's numbers. Some places might go a little bit lighter and just be like, as long as we have one contact,
then
and then you
let
can
them know.
contact everybody else. That whole thing. Then you're going to be brought to your table. When you are at your table, and only when you are at your table, can you take your mask
Seated,
off.
you said.
Seated at your table. If you stand up at your table, legally you have to have your mask on. If you get up to use the bathroom, mask has to be on. If you are, we're going to be having some entertainment, that's obviously going to be safely distanced away, but you can't get up and dance. You can't do certain things. We've got kind of a footloose ruling going on.
Sure.
And all of the menus, for us at least, we're going to be putting plexiglass on top of the tables and putting menus underneath the plexiglass so you can just see the menu right there without having to touch it.
Right.
Every single item has to be single use. Your cups, your silverware, you can't have salt shakers, you can't have ketchup, you can't have anything like that
salt
on
packets,
the table.
pepper packets.
And you're already running into a shortage of pepper packets because people have been preparing for this. I don't know why it's pepper and not salt, but pepper is already at a shortage. So there's gonna be a
Because
lot
yeah,
of-
we're all
salt anywhere,
salty
dude.
we're
enough.
all salty enough. We don't
salt
need that. We
anywhere,
need some
dude.
spice in our lives. So you're going to get that, and then you're going to get the spiel at the table. It's basically like, you have to follow these rules or we can't operate. So
Right.
basically the long and the short of it is wherever you go, they're going to tell you exactly what you need to know. And you just got to listen to them, because
don't fight 'em on
if
it.
you're the dick that causes a problem and breaks whatever the guidelines are, you're not getting in trouble by the CDC, by the health board, or anything like that. The business that you're going into is the one that's going to have that issue to deal with. It's the same thing as like a kid going in underage and drinking. He's not going to get fined for underage drinking. He might get arrested for something related to it. But the bar is the one that's going to have to suffer. The restaurant's the one that's going to suffer. So
also, one thing when you were talking about,
yeah,
you know, because I was like, well, how are you going to regulate when people are waiting to fucking be seated? And you're like, 2 hour minute or 2 hour maximum.
2 hour maximum. We specifically are telling people that if you go to if you show up and we're staggering reservations, so it'll be like 7, 7:05, 7:10, 7:15. So we never have a line.
Sure.
Because the last thing you need is somebody driving by and seeing a line and taking a video.
Wait, does this mean fine dining's coming back?
Fine dining is making a comeback. While we were going over all these rules yesterday and all of the regulations, all I could think in my head was, wow, a lot of this is just like working for a corporate restaurant. Like when the guy is in town to do your review and you got to be by the books, or when the health coach or the health inspector shows up and you got to be like super on top of it. Obviously, like gloves and everything like that, masks. Like servers are going to be wearing masks. Gloves that are already supposed to be used and should be used in all kitchens, everywhere.
Sure.
That is going to be very, very strictly enforced. The nice thing is you don't have to wear the mask while you're cooking because they realize you might pass the fuck out in 125 degree weather.
It wouldn't be possible.
It wouldn't be possible. I know at least one of the girls that was working in the kitchen at the bar while they've been doing just the delivery had like a minor panic attack because she was just kind of like, she's working, she's moving fast, and it just like shortens your breath a little bit.
Yeah, you can't get a full breath
You
in.
can't. So for the servers, we'll go to the tables with them on, and you don't have to have them on there. But we're gonna be doing, even like next week, we're gonna be doing karaoke. We have to have we're calling them karaoke condoms. They're condoms. Literally, they look like condoms. They have a nipple at the top of them, and they slip right over the microphone. And so every single person, when you go up, they're going to have to put that over the mic and hand it to you. And then I believe you're allowed to take your mask off to sing. But walking up, you're going to have to keep your mask on.
How is the sound getting through?
I don't know.
Are they paper?
They are specifically made to be used for microphones.
Wild.
I've never heard of this before. Never seen
all the
it before.
karaoke songs. You're like,
yeah. Good time to do Bob Dylan. Now, we're going to be doing karaoke. Now, this I kind of like.
Can I bring my own microphone?
You probably could. That would
It's
probably...
Wait, do they look like this, dude?
No, they apparently go over the whole thing. The whole thing. I was given a very visual description about it. Like a very, very deep description. I did not actually get to see them yet. But the thing that's awesome that they're going to be outlawing until further notice, no duets, no trios, no groups, only solo performances. And I'm like, that's part of my personal rules of karaoke. I only do really duets when they're going to be fun and I would know it's going to be good, or when somebody asks me to do a duet.
Or when it's 1 a.m. and we're...
That's different. And now we're also only going to be doing karaoke from like 6 to 9.
Yeah.
So it's going to be during a time where we're not staying open till 2. We're going to stay open maybe 11, maybe 12 on Friday and Saturday if business demands it. But we're not, like, since you can't be there just drinking, you're not going to get a lot of people that are going to hang out for just 2 hours when they really just want to drink and they have to buy food.
Here you go, dude. I think this is it.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. So just again, just as a nice heads up and a warning to everybody. Obviously, this will drop next Monday, so it'll already have gone into effect.
Sure.
But you guys will know this for at least the next couple of weeks until we're out of the yellow stage. And then the fun thing is, all of the rules will change once again.
Yeah.
And we'll have to relearn all new ways of doing things. And just understand that the cost that this is going on the owners and the business runners. Every single time you order something, they're now putting out money for that cup, for that plate, and they have to throw it away at the end. They can't just give you their normal plateware. So they're investing a lot more than they usually would on disposable items. So
yes.
It's bad for the environment.
It's bad for the environment. It sucks, but it's one of those things. It's a coin toss. It's like, it's the whole old Louis C.K. bit about, like, do you want your ankle to hurt, or do you want to have like a kidney problem later from taking all of these medications? You got to choose the evil you want here, and we're choosing to destroy more trees, I guess,
sure,
in this situation. So that's the big news that's happening in the world. But there is one thing we've been covering it slowly, the Tiger saga, as it might be.
Yeah.
Carol Baskins, That bitch.
That bitch.
Now is the owner of Joe Exotic Zoo.
Yes.
She won the court case. They gave her the rights to own and operate the zoo.
That's some crazy shit, dude.
How about knocking a guy when he's down? Like, I mean, he's probably on top of the world in jail as much as you can possibly be, knowing that the whole world kind of loves him and that Nicolas Cage is going to be playing him in a movie and all of that. But Jesus Christ, she owns everything he worked for. This is that's final elimination. You are done.
That's it.
She has everything you were building. She owns all of those cats.
I wish I had a rich husband I could feed to the tigers.
Right?
I'd have everything I wanted.
Now the fun thing is that investigation was reopened, so there's been no update about that. So hopefully that means no news.
I feel like it's going to be harder for them to fucking find anything at this point.
But I'm hoping. That lady, her
in the court of public opinion,
she's guilty.
She fed him to the
She
tigers.
fed him
for sure.
And in the court of public opinion, Joe Exotic is guilty of everything they said he's guilty of, except for. I mean, he did try to get the lady killed a couple of times.
Sure.
He verbalized it, so he's guilty. He's just as fucking guilty. He's just as for what he was accused of. But she murdered a person for sure.
He only tried to murder.
He only tried
a murderer. He tried to murder a murderer.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's like a Who Watches the Watchmen type of situation right there. Who murders the murderer? Joe Exotic, apparently. Yeah. Joe Exotic.
Are the cam girls looking at my webcam too?
I hope. Is this your close-up on your butthole webcam? Is that the one?
I got two laptops whenever I jerk off.
Yeah.
One for the front, one for the back.
That's the only way to do it. To be right about it, at least. All right, so nice transition into our featured musical guest this week. Ass play. Let's talk about Glass Spells.
Yeah.
It didn't work. If their band was called Glass Play, it would have worked way better.
Yeah.
But the band is called Glass Spells. They're an energetic California-based band. They got fuzzy bass, piercing synths, and dance beats. The single that you're going to be hearing is called Mirrors, which kind of works really well with the song that we did, because we talk about the mirror key, and again, we'll get to that a little bit later. Yeah. But they are, I really like that I found a good synth band, because we've been doing so much synth stuff to wrap up our 6-week journey on that Yamaha DX7. Again, the single from Glass Spells is called Mirrors. You can find them at glass_spells on Instagram, and look out for their new EP that's going to be dropping on June 20th. All right, so this is going to be, we actually have a nice music video. First time in a couple of weeks that we've had a music video submission. So without any further delay, let's hit it. Here is Glass Spells, Mirrors. Enjoy. guys, there you have it. Glass Spells. Again, the single is Mirrors. You can go check them out, glass_spells on Instagram, and you'll be getting their new EP around June 20th, so maybe we'll be getting them back over this summer times. Like that is... Yeah, the music video is very 1980s feeling. I fucking thoroughly enjoy that. But also
Minecraft.
Very much, yeah.
Because of the block, like
the block,
square,
everything. Yeah,
the big blocks.
Yeah. You know? The big blocks.
It
looked like a Minecraft piano player going on in the background. And I was saying she's got
the kids love the Minecraft.
Yeah, they do. And visually, her appearance just reminds me of Janine Garofalo in Mystery Men, which is the most badass version of Janine Garofalo that there is. That's really all it is.
Sure.
That's all there is to it. So again, check them out. Glass Spells, the single is Mirrors. Now, this week, as every week, we write, record, mix, and master a brand new single in just about 3 hours. This one's a long one. Let's just start with that. How long of a song did we write? Because it's been a while since we broke even 7 minutes.
It's not 7.
It's not 7.
6:48.
See, that's long for us now. We're getting old, guys. We're getting old. We used to pump out 11-minute songs like it were nothing. And now,
Jeff said that last song brought him back to class of 81.
Nice. Fuck yeah. I feel like that's gotta be what they're striving for there with that fuzzy bass and the awesome synth. But yeah, 1981. Jeff would know. He was there.
So was Justin.
Maybe not. Yeah, Justin was there.
Being born, dude.
Justin was a young 47-year-old man in 1981. He was there when Jeff graduated high school. And you're still here. You just don't age. You're like Tuck Everlasting.
Tuck Everlasting?
Yeah. He's Tuck Everlasting. He drank from that crick. Drinking from the crick. Drinking from a crick. So not a full 7 minutes the song this week. But as some of you may be aware, we've been writing songs based on TV shows.
Yes.
We've been picking either Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, whatever it might be. A series that we've never seen before or that is new. Justin, you had seen this series. You had more knowledge about it.
I've seen parts of the first episode. I caught pieces, and then I caught further in the show.
Okay.
Just like random crazy things, and I'm like, fuck, I need to go back and watch it.
Who's watching this? Your girlfriend?
I think the kids had put it on, actually.
Because it is a kid-aimed show.
That's what it looks like. It looks like a series of
This is one of those like never-ending story-level things.
Uninformed events.
Series of misfortunate events.
A series of uninformed purchases.
Yes. Oh, that's a way better one. Olaf will be real mean in that one.
You get underwear, there's already a hole in it. I'm like, I didn't read the Amazon list.
I did not read the description.
Yeah, I just bought an Xbox for $20.
Oh,
it's just the box, though.
It's just the box.
I thought
it's been hollowed out.
I thought Leather Daddy was the brand name, not the style.
Oh no! No, you bought that on purpose. Let's be honest.
Man.
Not from Amazon. Though.
Not from Amazon. No, you did not. Now, so this week we went with Lock and Key. That is the show that we are talking about. It is a graphic novel. That was turned into a series. Now, through our research, I realized that it was a series that was originally had a pilot in 2011, and I guess the pilot was just not good enough for Fox to pick up.
Right.
And it was Kurtzman and I forget the other guys that are behind the new Star Trek. Everything Star Trek. Alex Kurtzman, all those guys. It was their attempt.
Sure.
Spielberg produced it. And it didn't go anywhere. So
I don't remember it.
It never got aired. It was they literally filmed
a
pilot, and
people had sneak peeks because you had said somebody had given it a 4 out of 5.
They definitely, with most pilots, like they'll send it out to see what the reception's going to be. And for whatever reason, it was, as you said, Justin, it was probably too dark for the time because they would have had a Twilight or CW it up a little bit in 2011.
It would have turned into Buffy or Charmed.
But you didn't have all these Netflix original series that were allowing things to be dark and allowing things to be more, maybe not necessarily real, but more intense. And
I think at that point Netflix was. When was Netflix, were they really making? I mean, maybe they were making.
2013 is when they started doing House of Lies.
Okay.
Or House of Cards, not House of Lies. House of Cards, House of Lies.
2012. The only thing I was watching on Netflix was The Office, over and over and over again.
I was just getting DVDs in the mail still, so
I never had that.
Ooh, I loved that.
When I got Netflix,
you can set up a queue and it just like worked for you.
Yeah, once you sent it back.
Oh my god, I had that and the Blockbuster one, so I'd use Blockbuster for all the movies I knew I could just get, and then Netflix was the deep dives. Like when I wanted to find Chaplin, the Robert Downey Jr. Biopic about Charlie Chaplin from the early 90s.
Such a great movie.
You can't find it anywhere, but Netflix had it on DVD back in the day.
I never had a Blockbuster membership.
Really? I wish I still had that card. I lost that wallet.
I have to get that game, dude. There's a Blockbuster game
it's
that we need
Walmart.
to play.
We saw Mike pulled it up the other day.
We need
at Walmart.
to play
it
it on the show.
Yeah, it'll be a good one. That'll be a nice throwback episode there. But this show is about a family who loses their father in he's murdered. He's shot in anger.
The Locke family.
By the Locke family, and they are the owners of a family estate, and the house is called the Key House.
Yes.
And right off the bat, they make a joke that the family's really big into puns.
Yes.
So it kind of just takes the bite out of Lock and Key, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Like they mock themselves with it. It's very self-aware. But
and it's
all
very modern. They ask a kid what he would be doing, and he's like, "Oh, I'd probably be playing Fortnite."
Yeah,
right
exactly. It's definitely
Well,
modernized it for this.
They had the text message that pop up on the screen, like Sherlock was the first show.
Sherlock was the first one that really did that, like scrolling text on the screen,
which was always a cool effect.
Oh yeah, it worked really well. But this is basically the family moves into this house, and the youngest son winds up finding out that there are keys hidden all over the house that are
from his echo.
Talking into a well, this echo tells him about these keys. He goes around and starts trying to find these keys. One of them is a key to anywhere, and if you think of a place that you've been before and you put the key in the door and you open the door, you walk right into that place.
Yes.
If you get the mirror key, it's a key that goes to like basically self-purgatory. Like you just see the worst of yourself in it, and most people get stuck and die in that situation. So it's a really dark, fun family sci-fi thriller, slight horror feel to it.
Yeah.
Really fun series.
It does get wild from the parts I saw.
So far, I've only watched one point like 2 fight episode.
Right? The kid
was in what?
He's the little one.
Oh, the one that gets eaten in the beginning.
Oh, is that him?
Georgie.
Oh, that makes sense. He did look really familiar, and I couldn't think of where it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Nice. The show's awesome. So we went with that with our inspiration, and then so lyrically, everything that you're gonna hear is about being, in that situation that they found themselves in. Musically, Zach, where were we going with this? From your nugget of an idea to where we ended up. What was the journey of making this song?
Oh, this one just sort of
happened. You walked in, saw us watching it. You went upstairs, started playing stuff. What you were playing was basically scoring the movie or the show
at one
that
point
we were watching.
He is walking through with one of those flashlight lightsabers, the multicolored one that peer up into a cone. And
he's
a
walking
G.I.
with
Joe.
it, looking, and every time you stopped playing, he stopped moving,
and he'd like look into like a spot,
and then the music would go, and then you would go, and it just worked. So nothing was really the inspiration for this. Was it just walking in, seeing that, and thinking, okay, sci-fi horror, and then going with that? Is that kind of where you jumped in?
I was eating a chicken parm sandwich, and I could only play the keyboard with one hand. Well, I was stuffing my face with chicken parm with the other. That makes sense. So that's how I came up with the first
Some of the best artistic decisions have been made because you were too busy with one hand shoving a chicken parm.
And then I got sauce all over the fucking keyboard.
God damn it, dude.
So that's why it's a real sloppy song.
Yeah.
And a sticky song towards the end.
Got them jazz.
Oh, yeah.
Sauce.
I didn't mean to hit it, but it hit it.
Literally put the sauce on it.
Now, Justin, for the drums, you kind of another one where you had a lot of free range to kind of to do your thing.
Yeah.
But this one came really naturally. This one
I'm just happy
really
that
quickly.
the triplets came out okay.
The triplets
like
sound
that was
amazing.
something that I've been working on for a little bit.
But
and
then you added an extra. You're finishing
the
recording,
lighter,
and you went, turn on that mic.
Yeah.
And once we realized that the mic
just
wasn't
the
plugged
lighter
in,
noise.
we were able to record it. You were just going
yep.
with a lighter. And
because when he originally had that, and you were humming along, and I was playing along, and I was like, "Oh, that actually works. I like that."
Everything is music, man. Everything can be music. So the song winds up being under 7 minutes. It is just another catchy fun song. But Zach, you kind of pointed out that all of our catchy dance songs are still sad and slow.
Yeah.
Like if you were to go, hey, this is a dance song to almost anybody, they'd be like, no, it's not.
No, it's because I would tell any other drummer, hey, this song is 170 beats per minute. They'd be like, all right, that means it's fast. Justin's like, well, that means I gotta play extra quarter time.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, when you get into that mentality, I don't know. I just resonate on the quarter note sometimes.
It works. It really. This is another one. I'm excited to kind of wrap up the synth-based stuff because I think this has been some of the more fun, adventurous for us. Obviously, doing one in all Spanish. Yeah. Thinking about doing one in Cantonese and then just immediately abandoning that idea. But it was fun.
It's been a fun series,
and
man.
It's been a fun time just kind of like jumping into shows that I would not have jumped into to try to find something to
I
write
really
about.
like last week's song. I thought it's...
Last week, Another Life has been stuck in my head, and then you put that awesome lyric video together.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It was fucking... You sent me the link, and I was like, this is going to be amazing.
That was a good lyric video.
Thanks,
and I feel like...
Somebody should pay you for that.
Somebody should. Literally, hey, if you need lyric videos made, go check out Another Life from last week, and then just hit Justin up. And he'll do it for you. He's a whore like that. He'll just do it for you.
Yeah, he'll
do it for
Don't
you.
Don't twist my arm.
Unless you want to. He might like it. All right, so this song, again, is called Lock and Key, inspired by the Netflix original series of the same name. We'll see you guys in about 7 minutes. Enjoy. This one gets weird.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine how much weirder it got since the last time we heard any of it.
Yeah.
Hit it.
Secret here, an evil within. This house in disrepair might do us all in. A key to anywhere, any door we choose. Say the place and we'll be there. Take a step, nothing to lose. Find all the keys and where they lead. Open the locks and it will be. Find all the keys and where they open a doorway to the mind. Oh, how quickly you'll be lost and left behind. My echo guiding me from the well of dark. My trust betrayal, and the evil does its part. Find all the keys and where they lead. Open the locks and it will be. Find all the keys and where they lead. Open the locks and it will. Find all the keys and where they lead. Open the locks and it will be. Find all the keys and where they lead. Open the locks and it will. Find all the keys and where they lead. Open the locks and it will be. Find all the keys and where they lead. Open the locks and it will. Find all the keys and gun down, we're moving. Key house, we're coming. New life, we're living. Oh, we're trying. Gun down, we're moving. Key house, we're coming. New life, we're living. Oh, we're trying. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question from. Let me ask you a question.
All right, again, there you have it, our Brunch Weekly original
Thanks,
single.
Jeff, by the way.
Yeah, Jeff, he said they haven't. Read it. Cause
They haven't made trips like this since King Crimson. Jesus.
I do love
And
King
early
Crimson.
Genesis. Kudos.
And
Kyle loves Genesis.
I love Genesis. I love early Genesis. That is probably the best two-pronged compliment we've gotten in a very long time, so thank you there.
On a song with no guitars.
No guitars, like no
Just
bass,
bass
just
guitar.
bass, bass guitar. Hell yeah! All right, so every week, us and our fellow Moot.tv podcast release our episodes on Monday.
Yeah.
We like to call it the
Big up to Monday!
Big up to Monday!
Monday.
We like to call it the Monday Moot Drop. Now, this week, they released an episode last week that we discussed, and then they released kind of a mini episode inspired by last week's episode, which was 2 minutes long, where Greg just listed off in a seductive manner foods. He just listed foods for like 2 minutes in a seductive manner that are supposed to be like aphrodisiacs and all of that.
Right.
So then they did not release. I'm not sure if they're releasing one in the next couple of days or so. But as of right now, they hadn't released one today for me to listen to bring to you guys. So what I decided to do as has been the plan if they ever took a week off, was to look back at an older episode of Let Me Ask You a Question and find a weird question that Anthony asked to Greg and Eric. And immediately I thought of their second episode. If you go back, it's called Stan from IT. That's the name of the episode. And it's the first time. It's happened many times, and Greg points it out in this episode that it is the first time that they have a two-part or two questions in an episode. Because Anthony asks the main question, the question that he wanted to ask, and then they immediately get derailed and change the question altogether. So I'm going to present you the original question.
Okay.
And I want to discuss that because they never really got into it. So I'm going to give it its day in court, so to speak. And then we'll jump into what they actually wound up asking.
I had a day in court before.
I've had 7 or 8 of them, unfortunately. Now, the question, the original, this throwback question to back in like 2017, 2016, whenever they first started doing the show.
Right.
The throwback question is, if we all lived together during the Wild West, like in the Wild West, say we're like in Arizona or New Mexico or Nevada, somewhere out west, we all lived in there. What do you think you would do for a living? What is the job that you have? And this is not that you have the knowledge from today or anything like that. It is just you, me, Zach. We all grew up, and now we are the age we are in that time. So we would have been eating differently, exercising differently.
Yeah, you're going to have different skill sets.
Way better shape.
Right off the bat.
Much different skill sets. As you pointed out, I would know a lot more about hunting. I would probably know a lot more about
mechanics,
farming. Basic things that you need to know to get by. I would probably have that knowledge. So given all of that as kind of a background, what do you think you would be doing for a living in the Wild West?
Well, first off, do you think the big question with this is, do you think that if you were living in the Wild West that you would be intelligent enough to have learned to read?
Probably. I feel like me, if I was still born to the same family.
You're like the Doc Holliday of the group?
I feel like I'd be the Doc Holliday, but maybe not the Doc Holliday. I might be the Pat Garrett of the group. I might be the not of the group guy. I might be...
Because that totally changes what you would really be doing.
Yeah. So let's... Yeah, so
I mean, not necessarily changing what you would be doing, but...
I probably would have, because even though I would have grown up in a different time, if the essence of who I am is instilled into it, I would have been still super nerdy. I probably would have gotten really into novels of the era and wanting to know and writing my own. I didn't think about that. So, I mean, maybe I'd be a writer. Or something along those lines.
A real Mark Twain type.
A real Samuel Clemens type of gay. But aside
I don't
from
know why you're from Brooklyn.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you know Mark
they
Twain.
talked back in the 1860s in Brooklyn, you know. So Justin, what kind of job do you think you would have? You grew up in that lifetime, or in that time period.
I mean, that's a tough thing, man. I would hope that if that was the case, I would be at least resourceful enough with a gun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
because I think all of us could be
probably trying to live on a piece of land that is my own.
I think all of us could very easily be outlaws.
Well, we would all be living together,
if
right?
We all, that's the whole idea. It's like we're living.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to being a bank robber back then. It seems like a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's real shitty,
here
but
and there. Yeah, but I mean, it's a little bit better. But do you think there's anything that your natural skill set would? Do you think you'd be
mechanical?
A butcher? Do you think you'd be
for
mechanical?
Sure. I could be a butcher. You know, you have to look at mechanics. You have to look
if you weren't as heavy as you are now back then, you'd be a giant man. You just might be the guy that they send in at high noon,
maybe,
to just intimidate everybody on the duels. You're not actually dueling. You're just there to be scary.
Definitely a butcher in a sense. I mean, you could. And mechanical stuff that back then, like, you can see every single moving part. So, like, if you have basic knowledge and you are into that shit, then any of that, man. Blacksmithing, fucking...
I do immediately, we were talking about this a little earlier, I immediately thought you'd be a blacksmith just because you're a giant guy and that's wielding a giant hammer and you'd be just fucking svelte. You'd just be the scariest motherfucker and no one would ever screw you over on blacksmith. You would make... shoes for horses for anybody.
Sure.
And even the criminals would be afraid of you. I feel like just your stature.
Or even maybe a gunsmith or something from back then.
Yeah,
you know what I
cool.
mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Zach, anything that pops out to you that you think, aside from the criminal thing, because I think we could all be criminals. We could all be cunning criminals. I feel like there's a second part that I want to add to this a little bit that leads to that more or less. Sure. But if you were just raised in that time period, how does that really change much for you? You're gonna know hunting already. You're gonna know,
That's
all
what I'm
those
thinking.
things.
I'd probably be some sort of
like
trapper,
trapper,
like some sort of like leather maker or something.
Getting pelts and
You know
selling
what I mean?
shit.
Getting pelts and selling pelts.
Selling
and hopefully,
meat.
Farming and trying to.
That's what I think. Really, it would be like if we were together. If it was a group thing, we would definitely probably have a piece of land.
We'd have a piece of land. We'd be working on that, and yeah, we'd be reaping whatever we can sow.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think so leathering and anything like a tanner, something like that. You'd be getting into that. That's cool.
Jeff says Justin the gunsmith, Kyle the saloon owner, Zach the pimp.
Saloon owner. I was gonna go there. Yeah. Perfect.
I like that I'm the pimp though.
You are the pimp. You are the pimp.
And he said, "Oh, trapper." Yeah.
Trapper. Yeah. Trapper. No, I definitely feel like I would still wind up, like, I feel like I would be able to do the jobs that I've done in my life way better back in those times.
For sure, you don't have to deal with a bunch of shit. If somebody pisses you off, you can shoot them.
Exactly.
Get the fuck out of the bar.
I feel like I'd probably, saloon owner
You'd
or
be the
bar
guy,
owner.
spitting in the glass and then watching it.
Yeah. The little spit shine never hurt nobody.
Give me a bottle.
Yeah.
Pop a bottle down for somebody.
Yeah, I could totally run that. And then,
they ain't getting food.
The big guy comes in and
food.
there's a fight, and I'm just the guy who just slowly sinks behind into the trap door
grabs
on the
a
floor.
shotgun above the bar.
Yeah. I'm gonna
or we'd have a saloon. Justin would be the cook, and you'd be the bartender, and I would fucking play the fucking piano. I would be the pimp and the fucking piano player.
Pianist pimp.
Did they serve food in bars back then?
I don't know, but I mean, we would have been revolutionary if we had.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
Yeah, I guess maybe they did. Yeah, it would make sense if they did.
Yeah, you just said, give me one raccoon, and they gave you one raccoon. Skin on? No.
Give me what you got. All right.
You want the glands in all of these skunks? Nah. Oh, yeah, actually.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've had skunk mouth. I could go for some skunk mouth right now. All right, so yeah, I think I would wind up in a business like that. I could also see me at that time becoming like a banker or something along those lines if I was educated just slightly.
Now, knowing that, and without knowing that, well, I guess this question, with knowing the knowledge of banks being robbed probably frequently, would you still choose that? But you wouldn't know.
Not knowing, I probably would think, this is a good life to get into. I'll work for Wells Fargo. Yeah. I would probably be more of an entrepreneur in that time period than I am now.
Sure.
So that is the main question. My immediate hope was that they were going to segue into this. If you could go live in the Wild West right now, like tomorrow, like we all go to bed tonight, and tomorrow we're going to wake up, and we're going to be physically who we are. Exactly. We're not going to be in better shape. And we have all of the memory and all of the knowledge of today. What do you do going back, knowing that
make modern technology?
It's not time travel, like you're just waking up, you're going to be there. But maybe subscribing to the idea that us being there is creating an alternate timeline, so you're not really fucking up our world. You're just creating.
You also said earlier that we don't go back to our time.
Yeah, we never go back. We're just gonna wake up tomorrow. We're gonna be in 1845 or 1865, fucking Arizona.
Well,
and we're going to immediately have we're going to assume the identities of people that have existed, probably.
Sure.
So we're gonna have clothes. We're gonna have like a place to live. We don't have to worry about that. What do you do with the knowledge that you bring back to the Wild West from today to there? What do you think is the thing that you could thrive off of, the thing that you could make yourself money just off of the knowledge that you have right now?
I mean, you could do a bunch of different things.
Like, you guys both have mechanical knowledge.
You legitimately could fucking just craft armor that those bullets aren't going to pierce through, and do whatever the fuck you wanted if that was the case.
Yeah.
You could...
But in the time of wagons, like, bicycles are just starting to become a thing. Things along
you
those
could do anything
lines.
Mechanical to make life easier, yeah.
How hard do you think it would be, let's say for the two of you, to actually build an engine from like needing to go to a blacksmith and go, hey, I need this part. Hey, I need this part.
They had engines and they were steam engines.
They were steam engines.
Steam engine is...
But like a combustion engine, do you think you could from scratch, given 30 years to come up with it, do you think you could...
You mean convert it into a gas or petrol?
Yeah.
Car?
Yeah, with it, like knowing that.
I don't know. Were they converting? I guess they were converting. Oil
my knowledge from Back to the Future and only Back to the Future 3 is that they won't have gasoline till like the 1910s in that area in like California at least. So they didn't have that. But
did they make kerosene back then? Were they making kerosene?
There was some sort of oil to burn for something.
Yeah, so I guess you could.
There was oil lamps and shit.
Yeah, there was.
So do you think that you would invest time into doing that, or would you take a simpler approach and just kind of like outsmart people with minor things that
realistically, knowing that, I mean, if you could do something that would help you make money, like farming, or even able to produce more beef or anything that you could sustain and produce more, but more accessibly and easier in a sort of a production.
Would you like create chicken fingers or anything like that? Would you like be like
sandwiches?
Sandwiches, like
they
sandwiches.
Were not. That was
1920s is when sliced bread happened. Would you invent sliced bread?
Fuck yeah.
Would you do like how much this is my thought, is that every single day we would all be either
like, damn, I wish I had a sandwich right now
because of our witchcraft knowledge, or we would be like worldly renowned because they'd be like, all right, so don't freak out, but these guys, they're taking bread and they're taking a knife and they're cutting into the bread and only using a piece of the bread and then another piece of this. But between
it is like a slice of cow.
There's a cow piece in the middle, and I gotta tell you, it gets all your 3 food groups in one, and we love it. It gives you your fat, your steak, and your bread all in one. Let's go for it.
Do you think you could brew beer?
I don't know.
Or alcohol?
See, me personally, no. My personal knowledge right now, I don't. This is where I do think that if we were to go...
They were making plenty of alcohol in the 1800s.
Yeah.
They were.
I don't think there's nothing we know now that we can bring back to them and help make them brew better alcohol.
Brew better at that point. It might be better. Again, not regulated. You might get some crazy awesome stuff back then. This is the
Actually, you know what you could probably make the most money at? We are probably way better at mental math.
True.
Right now, you could go back and just be a gambler and just crush everyone because we're so used to doing math in our heads.
See, I was going to go to the, we would probably just start breaking the law, having better knowledge of how things work and like securities of, like all the things that have developed over the last 150 years would be wiped away. And we'd be able to step in and be like, okay, cool. I can forge a check really fucking easy in this time period.
There's one major problem, though.
Yes.
I don't know how to ride a horse.
I do.
Oh, God. And you know what? I hate horses.
You hate horses. Well, you don't have to necessarily... You don't have to.
All right, so here's the thing. You're the getaway driver, dude.
I'm the getaway driver.
Just jump in a wagon.
I'll ride the horse and you two be in the wagon, and we'll be good. We'll be good.
All right.
I do think that at that point, I probably, after a couple of years of inventing things... Knowing me, my ego would get way too fucking big, and I'd be like, oh, this is amazing, and then I'd probably start a cult. I would probably start a religion and just get all these idiots to follow me. I mean, Mormons did it around that time, so why can't I, you know? Like, I'd probably just create something, and then having knowledge of what our future is, I would just be banking a lot on us not fucking up the timeline so much that some of it would come true.
Sure.
And people would start be like, oh, God, this guy, he predicted that Lincoln
Or do you
was
bring
gonna get
technology
shot.
down and bring everybody back?
So stupefy everybody.
Yeah,
like
destroy, start destroying steam engines and plans and going up to people being like, I know how this works, proving that you should be there with them, you know how it all operates and whatever, and then convincing them that what they're doing is wrong.
I gotta say, I feel like I would, no matter what, I just use my, after a while, being adjusted, I just wind up using it for,
Jeff says Church of Moucha.
Church of Moucha, yeah. I'd probably have to change my name at that point. Clint Eastwood.
Also, he actually brought up a good point. Keeping beer cold and fresh in the 1800s would make you a king.
Refrigeration.
Do you guys know enough about that to probably be able to create?
Well, back then,
The manufacturing of that time is not good enough to support.
You wouldn't be able to do anything.
There's no refrigeration requires
power.
Well, that's why they did ice boxes back.
Well,
then.
it also requires
burying things.
Requires pressure.
Yeah. Okay.
And their system of the metals and tight tolerances.
Yeah.
And all rubber back then is real rubber from rubber trees for gaskets and things. Refrigeration wasn't really possible until the Industrial Revolution.
Right. Okay. Do you think you would help?
Because I sort of understand the way refrigeration system works.
Yeah.
Like with the compressor and the way the gas condenses and everything. But we can go back. Where the fuck are we going to get that gas from?
Stuff,
Yeah.
There's just the tools aren't there.
You might find somebody who has discovered something like that gas.
True.
At that point, but has no idea what the fuck it is.
Knowing the knowledge of that time period, would you maybe try to start pointing things in like in the Tesla direction and start tipping people off to having like coils and stuff like that? And so, but I'm saying you get ahead of that 20 years ahead.
But electromagnetism is a property of nature.
Sure,
so
true.
Technically, I guess if you could find rare earth magnets or something like that, you could have some sort of very basic electrical system.
Would you steer people away from the Industrial Revolution as it was and towards a more clean and sustainable future?
Well,
start talking about the power of the sun to the people back then.
The other thing that you also have, you would, because we're in the Wild West.
We're gonna use the sun.
Well, first off, the whole thing too is a lot of that shit. If you were like, the gas is used to keep things cold. Like I understand how it works. You guys discovered this gas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that would be on the East Coast in some scholar's house.
Yeah.
And you'd have a conversation where it's like, I understand how this works. You
pump this through this. If we woke up,
pump this through this.
Move to the East Coast and be like, all
we'd
right.
die. Oregon Trail, dude.
Reverse Oregon Trail.
You've died of dysentery.
Okay, what do you think you die of? What do you think you die of in Old West? What do you think is the cause?
I get shot.
You get shot?
I get in a gunfight.
You get in a gunfight? I think I get an injury of some sort that can't be healed by the medicine of that day.
You get the consumption?
I get the consumption or something along that. Yeah, I'm just walking it off for 10 years, and then all of a sudden I've just been
you are the
into
Doc
a
Holliday.
hanky. I am the Doc Holliday, because then I would just...
Oh, no, if we woke up back, and then right now they'd be like, look at these old men. Be like, you guys are going to die soon.
Yeah, right. We'd only have about,
That's true.
Me and you would have about 8-9 years. Justin would have about a day, according to their assumptions of how long you're going to live.
Do you think that disease...
He's old and a giant. That's not good.
Do you think disease back then we were more immune to because of...
They might have been, but we wouldn't be. We'd be going back and then being introduced to tuberculosis and to...
Even though that we have been vaccinated for it?
Yeah, I mean, certain things we'd probably
still... I guess it is a different strain. I guess it has mutated.
It has,
back then.
But who knows what died out before books could write.
True.
People could write books about... Books could write themselves. But
let's just face it, we'd all get drunk and stupid and all get into a gunfight with ourselves, and we'd all...
Now, the one thing that none of us have said, none of us have brought up, what would you do musically in 1865? Would you... Because they got guitars, they got mandolins, they got drums... Would you build the first drum set?
For sure.
Would you build like the first
For sure. That is something I didn't think about.
Look at the giant John Bonham. Justin just goes by John Bonham.
I mean, the first guitar was in
thousands. I mean, something that it wouldn't be electric at that point.
It wouldn't be electric. But Martin guitar was existing like in the fucking 1860s or something like that.
I was thinking more along the lines of something like an electric guitar.
Yeah.
Where you could send tone.
Guitar.
Where you could send tone. From one thing to another.
There's no electricity.
Yeah.
I know.
Solar
vibration.
And wind power. Would you harness the power of the wind and start making electricity? Could you? I wouldn't have any idea of where to begin with that. Which is why, out of my lack of knowledge, I would start a religion.
I could probably get electric power, but not any regulated sort of...
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not to be able to
you're
run
not necessarily...
something.
I don't know how to build a speaker, so...
True, but you could build a drum set that's acoustic based. You could build a better guitar. You could help improve on the designs of the guitar. And then if the guitars already exist, we could just
we make what we make now, just with
like we'd be tripping people out and then going, "Hey, that cactus over there is good eating. You should go eat that cactus." And then come
Well, that's
back
what I
and
was
listen
thinking.
to
Like
us.
going, like waking up in the Wild West, immediately going to Mexico, finding wherever the weed is, and
bringing it to America, making it a
Earlier,
sustainable
yeah.
crop earlier, where they cannot turn away from it. That could really, the United States of green, that would really change some shit.
Sure.
All right, so that is the discussion I wish they had on the show. But immediately, once they brought it up, for whatever reason, they segued into this idea. Okay. What would you think of a man whose apartment was fully decked out like the Wild Wild West, and he lived in an apartment?
Jim West.
And
Is
he's
he
a normal guy.
dressing up as a cowboy?
No, that's why the
cowboy
episode
hat?
is called Stan from IT.
Okay.
He's just Stan from IT that works in your office, right? Stan from IT works in your office, and then one day invites you over to his house, and you show up, and he is dressed in full cowboy garb. There's tumbleweeds in his apartment.
But he's wearing the cowboy
walls,
hat. Spurs,
only in his apartment. Only in his apartment. How do you react to Stan?
The same way I do for anybody who has converted their house into the deck of the Starship Enterprise or
do you know
Star
somebody
Wars.
that's done that?
People have done that and sold
I know
their
people
house.
have done that.
I don't know somebody
I was
that's
say
done
I would
it,
love to buy a house with a holodeck.
but people have done it.
A fake holodeck, I'd do it.
No, people have done it and sold the house.
Yeah, no, it would definitely be
I don't know.
selling point for me.
How would I don't know.
Would you treat that guy any different on Monday when you showed up to work? Would you just start giving him the guns? Like you went to a party at his house on Friday.
I'd probably give him shit for it, but
yeah.
I'd not really give a fuck what he's doing if it makes him happy.
Would you encourage him to just?
I wear fucking cowboy boots every day.
Yeah, you do.
You didn't turn the house into a Wild West.
You did turn this room into the gold room. The gold bar? What was it called?
The gold room.
Gold room. Yeah, it was the gold room. But yeah, so would you think any less of that person because they like to live in that fantasy?
I don't think so, man.
I think it'd be cool as shit.
I don't think I can think less of people.
I can't think less of people because of who I am. You can't think less of people because you already think less of the least of them as possible.
No, I think that would be cool if you were like an IT guy, but you were really into cowboy shit.
Fuck yeah!
I'd be like totally opposite.
Would you hang out with Stan more then?
expect.
Would you be like, yo, Stan, let's go over to your house and
Yo, Stan, you want to get drunk and watch Fistful of Dollars again?
yeah,
Fuck yeah, I do.
Well,
All right.
you would get a good friend to watch westerns with. That would be
true.
I think that's
Good
it.
with that,
Stan
the
from IT. We want to watch movies with you. That's what we want to do. That's it. All right. Well, guys, every week, again, we like to do that, bring those questions to you, and we drop our episode alongside theirs on the Moot Monday drop. No guest this week, and the next 2 weeks, we're going to be taking a little bit of a break, like I said earlier. So we will be back 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. We're going to take 2 weeks off. So we're going to be off until the 23rd. So we're going to be back on the 23rd of June.
You know what's fucked up right now?
What's so fucked up?
I should be in the Caribbean right now.
You should be.
That's true.
You really should be. You should be on a cruise ship. Which I did hear a thing, just a side note, that Norwegian Cruise Lines is opening back up. And they have medical grade air filters in there.
So Nate found a cruise to go on. One of those Norwegian cruises. But you know how they have the excursions where you can get off the boat? So they have excursions that you can book through your thing. They'll take you on bus rides to all the classic black metal sites where Varg killed people and burned churches. Yeah. And you know, the little record store that they all fucking hung out at, the dungeon or whatever.
Yeah,
all the classic metal spots.
That's a vacation right there to look forward to.
Yeah, 14-day cruise, and then you just, when you're near somewhere, you take an excursion to some shitty fucking basement somewhere.
And you brought this up the other night when we were hanging out, and I was like, it's just gonna be like some like 300-pound like Nordic dude who's just like, all right, so come follow me. Like we're gonna go over here. This is where I got my first hand job. Yeah, this is the first time I heard of any the black metal. And you just get his personal tour of that area. But that would be a great vacation to go on. I wonder how many other music-related excursions there are around the world. That's a good question. We should do one for Australia, where we just orchestrate it ourselves. Yeah. And just find, this is where Cosmic Psychos first played.
Yeah.
Okay, Puppeteers King Gizzard, and after that, we're gonna have to start Staple Tapeworm Semi-Penis. We can see those guys. Passenger of Shit.
Passenger of Shit.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good.
I don't know
Find the dudes that we played on the show too.
Yeah, Jurassic, all those fuckers. The Great Emu War, all those wonderful guys. They were great. All right, guys. So again, we're gonna be off for the next couple of weeks. We thank you so much for tuning in as always and checking this out. We'll be back. And
also, if you're going out, be safe.
Rock and roll. Yeah, please
and
be
just
safe.
Listen to everybody.
And don't be a douchebag. Don't push old people to the ground, and don't treat people different because of stupid reasons that you have stuck in your head.
No dancing.
And no dancing.
No touching. No
and
yelling.
And still no butt stuff. We haven't. Are they ever going to lift the butt play?
Probably not.
Are they ever going to lift that? They're just going to sneak that into a law. It's going to be.
Sodomy is illegal in a lot of states.
I know, but is it sodomy if I shove my tongue in your asshole? Is that technically sodomy?
I believe.
I think if it penetrates the butt. So in those states, you can only do a light tickle around the ring. All right. Well, thank you, as always, to the wonderful people over at Moot.tv for getting us out. Sir Eric Dukoski, Anthony DeAngelis, and Greg Baldwin putting everything together for their shows and helping us get our shows out. Go check out Let Me Ask You a Question. Go check out the Derek D. Dozen. And, as always, a big thank you to Mr. Justin Olimpedo.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for getting everything put
if you
together
need lyric
for this.
videos or anything,
hit this motherfucker up. He does edits for video games and streamers and makes intro videos and stuff like that.
Also, check out Houseboat Gaming. Go subscribe.
Yeah, Houseboat Gaming. Lots of gaming stuff going on over there. And always a big thank you to Mr. Zachary.
Kid tasted, mother approved.
Stormin'. Stormin'. That didn't go the way I thought it was at all. That didn't
I
happen.
had so many other things I was planning on saying, but that just
came
popped
out
into my head.
I like it. All right. Again, Glass Spells. Go check them out at glass_spells. Thank you so much again for letting us play mirrors for everybody here. We'll be back again in 3 weeks from tonight. Hopefully you guys have a nice June.
June 23rd.
June 23rd. We will be back. Thank you so much, guys. Here's our closing theme song to play us out. As always, we will see you next time around.
Fuck off!
Fuck the fans.
There's nothing more egomaniacal than singing the theme music for your own show. Who am I? Kelsey Grammer. If I could only drink like him, we're gonna write a new one every week. Some will be solid, some will be weak. We're gonna write a new one every week. Some will be solid, some will be total experiments.